New York Times poll that we spoke about in some detail last week, the deeper version of it has come out in the past couple of days, and it shows Trump on 39, Biden on 35, but then RFK on 25. You've also got Jill Stein, who was there in 2016 running for the Greens, and the Senator Manchin, Joe Manchin, of course, who's getting out of West Virginia, and he's going to go on a national tour, which of course may well mean he ends up as a potential option. Now, again, none of these people that aren't the Republican or the Democrat end up becoming the president, but it is really interesting to see that RFK, with all of the crazy, I think he's going to be the candidate for, frankly, the, dare I say, the podcast and Twitter world that don't want to play Biden and Trump again. That's why if he gets 15%, he actually qualifies at a presidential debate. And that would be fascinating to see. First time since Ross Perot back in 92.
I would love to see RFKJ at a presidential debate. He's such an interesting man, and he's got very well-founded opinions on a number of things. And I realize he's a bit conspiratorial, too. He's not right about everything, but good luck challenging him on his facts, because he's got them at the ready and he's prepared to argue them, which will not be the case for either Trump or Biden. But alas, we are in fantasy world because there's not going to be any general election debates. RFKJ would be the only one standing up there with Jill Stein, I guess, because mark my words, Biden's going to say, if it's Biden, I'm not standing up there next to an insurrectionist. I'm not standing up there next to somebody who's a convicted felon, which Trump probably will be by that time, because he can't do it. He can't. We absolutely know he cannot debate against Donald Trump. Just to bring up the things he lied about the first time between the two of them, and their last 3 debates together would be enough to sink him, but forget all of his cognitive abilities and so on. And I think at this point, Paul, Trump may be very happy to take that ticket out, because Trump's lost some spin on his fastball, to put it charitably, himself, and is not exactly a spring chicken. And I'm sure he would love to skip not only the primary debates, but the general election debate as well, and coast right into the presidency, because right now that's how his polls make it look, he's going to do. Now, having said all that, RFKJ, I do think is a potential bad thing for Trump. I think he's probably going to steal more from Trump than he's going to steal from Biden, for sure. I just think Democrats don't really like him. They know he's not really one of them. He's very anti-Democrat in a lot of their key issues. And I think they'll have figured that out for sure by the time we go to Election Day. So I think he's more likely to steal from Trump. But Manchin and Stein are much more likely to steal from Biden. So it could wind up being, I don't know, potentially a bit of a wash, depending on how popular Joe Manchin is. And I know the White House is very worried about Joe Manchin. They think he could get real numbers. Jill Stein spoiled it the last time around for Hillary. She actually did flip the election to Trump. She had enough vote in all those critical swing states that she was a major player, even though she had zero chance. And if Manchin can get even more, if Manchin could get near double digits, I mean, it's a complete game changer. So at this point, it's anybody's bet. We're starting to look more like a European country electing somebody.
Well, I mean, in our country, our government ended up getting formed with, 33% of the vote because they were able to work together with others. Imagine an American presidency where the person got over the line with a 3 in front of their final vote, as opposed to sort of high 40s, which is where it's previously been. But never say never, because that's the world we live in right now. As you say, we're in fantasy land. We're in pinball crazy, right? Anyone who says they know which way this is going to go, they've got no idea. But you mentioned about Trump and his fastball. The reality is, for multiple times he keeps pretending that Barack Obama is still the president.
But they were interviewing him 2 weeks ago, and they said, what would you advise President Obama? The whole world seems to be exploding and imploding. And he said, it's very simple. He should immediately resign, and they should replace him with President Trump, who kept the world safe.
There's plenty of these things, but I don't know whether people automatically associate that as the cognitive stuff, or just, Trump, he might get sort of 7 out of 10 right, but that's okay because we know his heart's in it. Whereas Biden can't walk up the steps of Air Force One.
I don't think there's any comparing what's happening between the two men. I mean, Joe Biden is every day there's another debacle that makes you feel uncomfortable and embarrassed for him. But there's also no denying that Trump is suffering some cognitive decline. You can see it. He has now 6 times confused the fact that the sitting president is Joe Biden, not Barack Obama. And the first time I thought, well, maybe it's a joke, because there's a belief amongst many that Barack Obama's the puppeteer and Joe Biden is the puppet. So I thought maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But it's happened now repeatedly, over and over and over and over again, where you can see he's not joking. He's not making a thing out of it. He seems to actually say President Obama right now, like as though he's currently president. And of course, as you know, as everyone ages, my God, I'm like, I got 25, 30 years younger than them. I don't know what I'm a lot younger than they are. And I forget, I search for a word, I say the wrong word here or there. Imagine 30 years on top of that. There's no question he's stumbling more. And the question is really more for the GOP primary field on whether you want this to be an issue. It's very clear it's a winner for Democrats and Republicans against Joe Biden. He's too old. Everyone agrees. 72% of the country does anyway. Why would you run somebody against him who's got even a toe in the dementia possibilities field? Why wouldn't you pick somebody young and vibrant who's lost nothing off their fastball, right? They appear not to care about this, but I will say Trump's mistakes have happened more and more lately, and he's given fewer and fewer interviews. And I do think it's probably one of the serious downsides of him not doing debates. Everyone up there would be half his age, you know, young enough to be his child in the case of Vivek. I mean, his grandchild? I don't know. And so he's really benefiting by the fact that the Republican electorate seems to be just rolling out the red carpet for him right into the general election without knowing whether he really is still the same guy as he was last time around.